Hi and welcome to this video on how to kickstart your consulting career. And you can do it with no money, risk-free and with very little effort in 10 days or less. So, let's get started. Have you ever wanted to start a consulting career but were afraid it would be too costly, that it would cost you an arm and a leg? Or afraid it would take too much time, that you had to sacrifice your quality time with your family and friends? Or didn't know how to find clients, no one to buy your services, or thought it would be too risky and that you might lose everything, and even afraid your spouse or friend thinks you're nuts. It's actually not a joke. This is one of the biggest fears people have when they start a business. But they have some good news for you. The solution is very simple, and the answer is online marketplaces. For instance, Guru.com, Elance.com, Sologig.com, and many more. I can now hear you say, but online marketplaces have existed for years, and this is nothing new, so will it really work? Actually, it works great. Let me give you some examples. This guy made $64,000 the last year, and he's made $110,000 since the start. And this guy made $58,000 last year. And please remember that they most likely have many other streams of income and only see online marketplaces as a complement to other streams of income. However, you should not expect to become a highly paid guru consultant overnight. But you will get started, absolutely risk-free and with very little cost and in a very short time. And that's what's most important, getting started. So here's the Kickstart formula. It's PB plus OD times EF equals MF. PB stands for place bids and MF stands for money and freedom. That's it for this video, and now you should know exactly what to do. Just joking. Of course, it doesn't make sense yet. Let me give you a step-by-step explanation of the formula. Step 1. Register at Guru.com or any other marketplace. Make sure you have a good profile because it's really your sales letter, and your profile should not contain a sales pitch. This is not the time to have sales pitches. It should be personal and it should be specific. And also remember, your profile cannot appeal to everyone. This is very important. Your profile should not and cannot appeal to everyone. And in step 2 you will place bids. Only place bids on small or medium-sized projects to start with. This is important to maximize the output later from step 4. Be specific and personal in your bid response. Use the same guideline as for creating a profile. The next 2 steps are very powerful, and what's really distinguished from success from failure when you work with online marketplaces. I only give my exact formula with the step-by-step fill-in-the-blank forms to a selected few of my customers, and the reason for this is I want to minimize the footprint it leaves. This method is implicit by nature, and if it becomes too obvious what you're doing, it won't work effectively any longer. If too many people use exactly the same forms and exactly the same method, it would render the method useless, and I want to protect my customers. I'm really sorry for that, and I can't give you my exact formula. But by giving you some basic guidelines and hints, I think you will be able to create your own method similar to mine. But of course, with a slightly different footprint, and that's not rendering my method useless. Also remember, do not reveal too much of your own method, as that would generate a large footprint and causing problems for you. In step 3, you set the stage for step 4, and the sole purpose is to make your client very satisfied. One thing you need to know is that your client judges your outcome based on their expectations of your services. Let me explain. Assume your client expects the result to be fantastic, but the result you deliver is only great. In this case, your client will be slightly disappointed. Further, assume your client expects the result to be good, but to deliver a great result. In this case, the client will be very, very happy. Did you notice that even though you achieved a great result in both cases, the client's judgment of the result was quite different between the two? The same thing goes for the stock market. The stock price goes up or down after a report depending on the expectations from the analysts. If the result was better than expected, the price goes up, and if it was worse than expected, it goes down. So basically, you need to exceed your expectations to make your client happy, and this is very important. It must come as a surprise at the end. In step 4, you leverage on the success of step 3. You use something called the law of reciprocity, which is a very powerful persuasion psychology. If you use this effectively, you will gather loads of referrals and testimonials, which is the most valuable asset you can have as a consultant. One important thing here is that you must use this method very subtle and indirect. It will render the method useless if it's too obvious what you're doing. Just Google law of reciprocity and you should find plenty of information about it. After step 4, you loop back to step 2 again for another round. And because I did step 3 and 4, it will now be much easier to get more clients. And finally, after you're ready to continue, you go beyond the online marketplaces as step number 5. And the reason this works is because it's a simple method, and simple is good. Einstein once said, "Make things as simple as possible, but not simpler." And he was a very smart guy, as you know. You leverage on already existing infrastructure. Others have already done the hard work for you. So you have a good way to find with, communicate with, and charge your clients. You have a plan of attack. You are not just bidding randomly like most others. You have a plan. You use very powerful persuasion psychology that works under the client's radar. And you reach buyers from the whole world, and I mean it, all corners of the world. Then why on earth should you do this? Well, it helps you get started in consulting very fast, with very little effort and at no risk and almost no cost. You gain experience in consulting. It helps you get referrals and testimonials, and this is the most important asset you can have as a consultant. You can keep your current job during the startup. You get prepared for the next step, beyond the online marketplaces. Okay, so far so good, but let's take a look at some common concerns. But I'm afraid it will only work for low-paid jobs. It's a very valid concern, but it's simply not true. It works for a wide range of income. This is an example of minimum hourly rates. This guy expects a minimum rate of $100 per hour. This guy expects a minimum rate of $300 per hour. And this guy expects a minimum rate of $200 per hour. Most of us would be very happy to work for $300 per hour. Even $200 or $100 per hour appeals to most people. Okay, so let's take a look at next concern. But it only works for business consultants. Again, this is a valid concern, but it's simply not true. It works for a wide range of careers. For example, website design, multimedia, painting, advertising, engineering, telephone system, legal, fashion, CRM implementation, programming, translation, admin support, business consulting, photography, accounting, broadcasting, and many, many more areas. But it only works if I'm from USA or India or Hungary or Japan. It's an understandable concern, but it's simply not true again. Most countries are in fact represented. These guys come from USA. And these guys come from Pakistan. And these guys come from India. Not the best of friends in the political world, but they coexist happily in the online marketplaces. So, what are you waiting for? Start now. There is absolutely nothing holding you back. And if you found this video valuable, you can find more free videos at consultingvideos.com.